Okay. Okay, I'm just waiting for everyone to turn up. Someone crooked. Okay. Oh, I got someone on YouTube. I'm just waiting for Facebook to turn up here. I save all of my videos. The reason I'm on YouTube is I'm saving all my lives on here, and then I go from FaceTime to Instagram to TikTok. Those are my big platforms. And YouTube might be big one day. I don't know. We'll see. Okay. Just waiting for everyone to turn up. Okay. I'm still dressed. Haven't had a chance to shower since the gym. If I look like this, it's because I've just been at the gym. Okay. So it's a really unusual time for me to be on. The reason I'm on now is we're launching the Toddler Bootcamp course in about an hour. So I thought I'd come on. We're really excited about it. I thought I'd come on now and talk about it. So it's mostly focused on toddlers this morning, and also later on today in the live at 4:30, because that's my regularly scheduled live. So this is just a bonus live today, just because we've got this big launch coming up in an hour. So anyway, check out the link above and you'll see my free behavior board, my mini toddler courses, my brand new bootcamp course for toddlers is opening up in about an hour. And then you've got my regular bootcamp course, 3 to 12 years old, and you can look into coaching. So anyway, and I'm going to make this live mostly focused on toddlers, just because I've got this new toddler course coming out. So I'm very excited about it. Anyway, so I'm just waiting for your questions, and I'll do my best to answer them. Okay. Okay. How are you and your family doing? Very well, thank you. My daughter works with me, and my son's busy working at his own job, and he's got a baby. So yeah, we're all doing great. I'm very grateful when things are great, because as you get older too, I'm 63, you go through hard times. So my mom always said the hard times are there to make you appreciate the good times. So yeah, right now it's all good times. And everyone's healthy and it's all good. Okay, now how can I help my child talking from talking back? My child talk. How can I help them back talk? You set yourself up as a leader and they don't do that. I don't know how well, you have to put their ages in there. But when you're a leader, they don't talk back to you. They don't give you any sass. They don't disrespect you, because leaders give respect to get it. And anyway, check out the link above. You'll see everything I have to offer. And it's all about respectful parenting. I call it leadership parenting, because you're more like a coach, like a mentor, someone to look up to. You're there for them. You never yell. If you do yell, now you'll learn how not to. So yeah. Okay. She's 10. Okay, check out my bootcamp course for 3 to 12 years old. That's in the link above. It'll teach you how to get respect. If you don't want to buy the course, you can look at my free behavior board. But if you're on the fence and you think you're going to buy the course, don't start the behavior board without the course, because it's more inclusive, it's more extensive, right? The course. But you can try the bootcamp course on your own if you want. Okay. How do you balance play and responsibilities when both parents are ADHD? You're asking me to help manage yourself as an ADHD parent. I don't really do that. Like, what I mean is that's your personal challenge. I can tell you how to be a leader, but then it's your way to navigate around that. In coaching, I get into that more. That's personal. But just here, I can't help you with that. You'd have to hire me for coaching, and then we could work out some systems that might help. But anyway. What do you suggest? Oh, I like this one. You're going to hate me. What do you suggest when one parent is a good leader and the other is the calm one? I call my parenting style is calm leadership. So yeah, the leader is the calm one. The leader is the one, is the prize role. You're the one they're going to tell everything to. The other parent is what I call a pleaser. It doesn't mean that they love you any differently, but the leader is the calm one, because you're the leader. You know how to be calm. Leadership is calmness. So yeah, but you can be crazy when you're playing. But yeah, and they're not, parents don't have to be the same, but they have to be on the same page. You can have different styles, but you got to be on the same page. You got to back each other up. So, and usually the pleaser, or the what you call the calm one, I'm guessing, the one who doesn't want to discipline or anything, they defer to the leader. Okay. And my toddler course is coming out in about an hour. And that's the boot camp course for toddlers. If you've already got the other boot camp course, 3 to 12 years old, that is a step-by-step. Here's what you do week by week. The toddler course is more of a reference guide. It's huge. It's got tons of stuff in there, but it's lots of little mini sections. And it's just explaining sort of why they do what they do and how you approach it. So yeah, it's more of a reference guide because you can't plan toddler stuff. Toddlers are crazy. They're going to do what they're going to do. They're just forming. They're in the discovery phase. So you can't plan out, here's what we're going to do this week. Here's what we're going to do next week. Doesn't work that way with toddlers. Yeah, they're in the moment. They're in the moment. So you can't plan stuff out. You could try. Oh, there's a couple of exceptions. Bedtime, you can plan that out. Potty training, you can plan that out. But the rest of it, you're more just waiting to see if they do something. And then you kind of look it up and say, okay, what do we do when they do that? They're not all going to do crazy stuff. Okay, at what age do you expect toddlers to sit through meals, and how do you get that behavior? Well, if they're in a high chair, they're kind of stuck there. And I really catered to my kids. Like what I mean by that is I made sure I cooked stuff that they liked. So food, like meals were always kind of a positive. And yeah, and we sat around and chatted, but they were in a high chair and they just didn't know any different. They didn't know there was an option to get down because they never did. If you're inconsistent, they're going to play on that. They're going to take charge. But yeah, my kids, once they sat in that high chair, it was eating time and we'd sit and chat, but they didn't know there was an option that they could get down until I got them down. So you see, once you open up that gate and you allow them to take charge, it's harder to bring them back in and corral them, for sure. Is it important to plan daily things like snack time, lunchtime? I think meals should be consistent. Yes, I do. It doesn't have to be the exact same time, but breakfast, lunch, dinner, I think they should be able to rely on that. And snacks should be really light, like just fruit or something, so they will eat a better meal. Also, a lot of parents of toddlers, and I don't go into this a lot, okay, because I'm not a nutritionist, but a lot of parents of toddlers expect them to eat more than they do. They're often grazers. That's why, well, they didn't even eat a dinner, but they always want a snack. They're grazers. They want to eat when they're hungry, but they don't want to, fill up. And so, yeah, they're grazers. But I can't get into that too much because I'm not a nutritionist. I'm very cautious about that. But yeah, I do think it's important to sort of have some regular meal times. Kids saying shut up and not listening, that means you're not a leader. Their behavior is a direct result of your parenting. It means you haven't gained their respect. You got to earn that. You got to work for that. Check out my boot camp course for 3 to 12 years old. Okay. It'll teach you how to be a leader. I don't teach kidding here. They're just a reflection of your parenting. I don't teach kidding. By the age of about 3, they are. Under that, toddlers are kind of crazy anyway. I've got the toddler course coming out in like 1 hour. If you want to check that out, that's the boot camp course. That will include all of the mini courses also as a bonus. So yeah. Or you've got a 4-year-old who's pushing your buttons. Check out either the behavior board, which is free, or the boot camp course for 3 to 12 years old. He refuses to eat. That's okay. You don't force them to eat, but you only provide food when it's mealtime. You know what I mean? Like you got to control this stuff. So yeah, they'll eventually learn, but check out the course. That'll help you. And you said he's pushing my buttons. 3 is usually the fork in the road. When they turn 3, they almost go like this. They stop and think and they go, wait a minute, you know what you're doing, so there's no point of acting up. On the other side, they'll go, wait a minute, you don't know what you're doing. I've been in charge for you've been like crazy trying to deal with me. I think I'm going to take charge. 3 is when they stop and realize if you're a leader or not. So by 4 years old, it's just a reflection of your lack of leadership. He's figured out that you're not in charge and he is. That's all that is. You can fix that though. I teach parenting. I don't teach kidding. I teach parenting. Everyone wants me to fix their kids. And I say, well, no, it's you. You're the source of their behavior. So we fix you. You're the reason why they're doing that. So you have to change you, right? Isn't that a good thing? Don't you want to feel that empowered that you do have control? Yeah. Teenagers are different, but up to about 12. That 3 to 12 years old is when you're at the height of your leadership. They want to please you. I stopped disciplining my kids, I would say about 3.5. They were self-disciplined. They just knew right from wrong, and they knew if they chose wrong, mom would have a consequence. There was no anger, no nothing. It was just easy. They understood that. They get it. That's what leadership does. It just takes away all the work. But you got to earn that. You got to earn that role. You give respect to get it. I was accountable too. My kids loved it when I messed up. If I messed up, they'd look at each other like this. And I'd say, oh, shoot. Mom, you said you were going to bake muffins tonight and you didn't. And oh, shoot, what do you want? We'd love to go to the water slide park tomorrow. And I'd say, sure, I'll bring your suits. So I was accountable. A leader is also accountable. You're not a dictator. You're not an authority. You're a leader. There's a huge difference between the two. A leader leads by example. A leader is accountable. I lead. I expected my kids to be accountable because I was. I'm leading. I lead, they will follow, right? Being accountable makes you look strong, not weak. It's the parents who are beyond, like you don't question me. You don't question me. They always look insecure to me. That's the bullying, the authority type parent. They're not usually fun. It's fear-based parenting. I'm your parent and you'll listen to me. Yeah, not good. That backfires in the teen years, by the way. That bullying style might work when they're young, but in the teen years, that's why they rebel. Is it more important to clean the kitchen or just play? Well, can't you do both? I don't understand that. I'm not OCD, but I would be in the fanatic department. But I never make a mess. Like I never, my kids had stuff strewn around, but I didn't have a lot of toys out. I'm more of a minimalist, so there was never a mess in the house to clean. But I'd still, to this day, I clean the bathroom, the kitchen, vacuum and mop every single day, everywhere, and do other stuff too. I love cleaning. So you're asking me, is it important to clean the kitchen? Yeah. You can do both, though. Can't you clean and play? I don't understand that. I played with my kids all the time, but there was never much time spent cleaning because we never really made a mess. I didn't have a lot of clutter and stuff to throw around, and we cleaned as we went. So I don't quite understand. I had no problem. Like my house was always really clean, but I played with my kids constantly. So, okay. Example of leadership parenting. How much time have I got here? Okay. If you look up on Instagram and TikTok, I'll be going there soon. Actually, I move around when I'm doing these lives. The very first video on both those platforms is called Example of Leadership Parenting, and it's the pool story. Okay. It explains what I'm talking about here with leadership parenting. So you include them in the cleaning? No, my kids had to pick up after themselves, make their bed, put their dirty clothes in the laundry, that kind of stuff. And they couldn't leave any dribbles in the toilet, but there was never any correction. They just kind of knew, it's kind of hard to explain, but you got to set up these systems and be consistent. But yeah, I don't quite know what you mean. I didn't have my kids help me. I'll tell you why they had to do their own chores, but I never had my kids help me clean. And I'll tell you why. I am in the fanatic department for sure with cleaning, but I didn't want to put that on them. I didn't want them to think that you have to be as fussy as I was. So I'm kind of a closet cleaner. Like I like cleaning closets too, but I don't like cleaning in front of people because that's my zen, that's my relaxation, and I don't like doing it in front of people. So my kids never really had to help, but they weren't allowed to make a mess. I used to say to my kids and my husband at the time, I said, look, I'll do all the cleaning, but you do but never if I ever have to pick anything up that you've left behind, then you'll be helping me clean too. So it's funny, they never did. They never left dirty clothes on the floor, never. So that was my deal. Yeah. If I ever have to pick up your mess to clean under it, you'll be cleaning. And they never did. It was amazing. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, my kids had chores. They had to make their bed, do their put their laundry away. They had chores, but they didn't do the big clean with me. Okay, sorry, but this one is focused just on toddlers because I'm launching my toddler course, the boot camp course, in about less than an hour now. 9 o'clock Pacific time, which is California time, Vancouver time. It's being launched. So I'm just here to sort of help launch my course and talk about it if anyone has any questions. It's pretty self-explanatory. If you go in the link above, you'll see, and there's a countdown there. But yeah, so I'm just focused on toddlers in today's lives, just because of the launch of this new course. But my favorite age is teenagers. You know that. So tomorrow I'll probably be on, and then I'll talk about teenagers. Yeah, my kids were very proud of themselves too. They looked after their room. They always put their dishes in the dishwasher, all stuff like that. They never left a mess behind. But when they were playing, you can have stuff everywhere, right? But then we'd clean up together and then we'd do something else. I've got a lot of opinions on cleaning. Kids, they love helping me. Yeah, kids love helping until they're good at it, generally. Like you'll see little 3 and 4-year-old, oh, they love cleaning. Yeah, wait till they're 9, then we'll talk. Usually it's when they get good at it, that's when they lose interest in it. So yeah, they may like it now, and that's okay. I never felt that the kids should love cleaning. I was born this way. I knew I loved it. Like I always loved cleaning, but I never felt that my kids needed to be that way. So yeah, I always sort of taught my kids that, yeah, some things in life are yucky, and chores, most people don't like them, but chores are not. I taught them that sometimes things are yucky and you got to do them anyway. And I really taught them, you got to do what you need to do before you can do what you want to do. Like I never told my kids to clean their room, do their homework, go to bed, ever. I have no memory of any of that. And the reason is, I waited till they asked for something and they'd say, can we please watch TV? Sure. Have you finished your chores? Or as soon as you finish your chores? And they go, oh, sorry, Mom. Right. Okay. Then they got to the point where they'd never even asked to do something fun until they knew they'd done what they needed to do. They understood that discipline. They just got it from a really young age. And it was a fun house. Like they never questioned it. It was just because their chores were very doable and very easy. So I never tried to make chores fun. That's in the pleaser parent department. Let's make everything fun and easy. Let's show them that everything in life should be fun. You're going to raise entitled people who don't want to do anything that isn't fun. It's better to teach them to do the hard stuff that they hate doing. Like my kids didn't particularly like putting laundry away, but they knew they had to do it. So yes, sometimes people will ask me, how do we make chores fun? Why would you want to? What, then they get a job when they're 19 or 20 and it's not fun, so they don't want to turn up. See what I mean? Like you're building that entitlement that, well, I don't want to do it because it's not fun. You got to teach them to do the hard stuff. At what age did you introduce chores? Oh my gosh, they were little. But we were doing stuff together, like they were 2. Let's pick up your toy. Well, I always did it like this. See, we're going to go to the park. Let's put your toys away and then we'll go. So they would happily, and we were doing it together. So I got them to do it. So they understood before we go to the park. I always had that carrot on the end of the stick. We're going to go to the park. Okay, let's put these toys away. They would never argue. They'd race around helping me put toys away. So, because they always understood that you gotta earn the fun, but they never thought anything of it. Plus, I'm more of a minimalist and I did a toy rotation system. So when I say put toys away, there was probably only 5 of them. So yeah, I kept it very manageable. Like if you've got a really messy playroom and then you said that to your kids and it's cluttered and chaotic and you know what I'm saying, if it's like a hoarder kind of situation, it's not going to work. It's overwhelming and it's unfair and mean. But yeah, if they have 5 toys, it's like, let's pack. I'm sure we'll go to the park as soon as you put your toys away. 2 minutes later, it's all done. So yeah, they did it with me and then they just got in the habit. They just understood. Like I remember saying to one of my kids, I can't remember which, I said, do you want to go to the park? And they didn't have language yet. Like they weren't even saying, and then they were all excited. They ran around starting to put their toys away. I didn't even say anything. So they just start to get, you got to earn the fun. And they didn't think anything of it. Is it bad to do a reward system for potty training? Yeah, I do have that in my potty course. It's a whole system though. It's a whole system. It's a potty party. It's very messy. And it's just you and your kids, and it's over a weekend. I trained my son in 1 day, my daughter in 2 days. No pull-ups, no night diapers, nothing. And it is intense, but it gets really good results. I get some really good feedback on that. It was easy for me because I was already a leader, but if you're not a leader, it's a good way to start, increasing your leadership skills. Because it's based on fun. Their love language is fun. If you're just telling your toddler what to do all the time, that's ludicrous. They're not going to listen to you. You got to mix it with fun. Fun is their love language. You can use fun as leverage too. Like I said, you want to go to the park? Okay, let's pack up the toys, then we'll go. You see, I was always leveraging fun. That's why I never really had to discipline. Oops, I got to go over to Instagram now. If you want to join me over there, that'll be BratBusters. Check out my new toddler course. It's coming out at 9 o'clock. So it's like 50 minutes, 49 minutes from now, it'll be launched. It'll be in the link above. You can see it all up there. But you can also check out my free behavior board, my mini toddler courses, which will be an added bonus into the course. So you can still buy them separately, but they will be thrown into that course. You're paying for the new toddler course, but as an added bonus, I'm throwing in all the mini courses. And then, oh yeah, the other boot camp course, 3 to 12 years old, or you can look into coaching. So I'm hopping over to Instagram now if you want to join me over there. And I'm on YouTube the whole time. That's where I save all of my lives. So happy parenting. Bye now. Oh. So many buttons to push. Okay, so I'll go on Instagram and let me look at YouTube here. 9-year-old DTR seems anxious. What's a DTR? 9-year-old, oh, is that daughter? Short for daughter? Seems anxious about the time to complete her task, week 1 of boot camp. What task? Checking in with me often on how much time is that. Is this why is she checking in with you? She's got to be able to see the timer. And the task should be 2 minutes long. Don't make the task big, but make it that if she gets 15 minutes to do a 2-minute task. This is Christina on YouTube. She's talking about the boot camp course for 3 to 12-year-olds. But yeah. Oh, and then you said, oh, sorry, okay. And that was the, because I'm talking about toddlers. Yeah, but I had to answer that because you're in the boot camp course. And I don't answer coaching questions because they email me directly. So they're the only people that I answer, outside of this. Can you implement behavior board and work on it? Okay, so that's more of a boot, the 3-year-old. Anyway, so I am focused on toddlers right now because my toddler boot camp course is launching in less than an hour now. So I'm on here just talking about it, answering any questions if you have them. The boot camp course is more of a reference guide. I was never going to do a toddler course. I always said I'll never do one because what am I going to put in it? Toddlers are crazy. The end. But turns out I found tons of stuff to put in there. I just turned it into a reference guide. You may not need tons of stuff that's in there, but I do suggest you look at everything. It gives you an idea of how their minds work or how they're starting to work. Okay, they're in the discovery phase. They're going to do crazy stuff. They might even go like this and smear poop on the wall. You can't prevent that stuff, but it teaches you how to calm down and how to manage it. And it also will probably help you think, oh, my toddler isn't that crazy after all, because other kids must be doing this if it's in a course. So yeah, it is considered more of a reference guide. All these little mini lessons in there. Anyway, so yeah, and I've also thrown in all of the mini courses into that as a bonus. So you're paying for the boot camp course for toddlers, but you get all the mini lessons thrown in. Anyway, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, check out the link above. You can see my free behavior board, my mini toddler courses. The brand new boot camp course for toddlers is coming out in 45 minutes. And then you can look into the other boot camp course, which is 3 to 12 years old, or you can look into coaching. Anyway, let's get going here. What if your marriage is falling apart and you have very different mindset to raise the children with your wife? Well, you don't have to have the same style, but you have to be on the same page. And that is your job as exes. My ex and I, we managed that. We never fought or anything, but we were always on the same page with parenting. I always had done all sort of the raising the kids. He was a great dad, but I was the stay-at-home mom. So he kind of just followed my lead, and they were easy kids, so, but yeah, you don't have to be the same, but you have to be on the same page, support each other, never argue, never go against the other parent. That's the important thing. They don't care if you're together. They just care if you get along. That's it. How long do you have access to the toddler course? I always say this. My courses do not expire unless I do. They have no expiration date. I do, though. But my daughter now works with me full time. So I'm sure even if I got hit by a bus tomorrow, she'd keep them going. So yeah, they don't expire. Well, I mean, they might in 50 years. I don't know. But yeah, there's no expiry date on them. I have 3 boys, 7, 5, and 3, would benefit more from private coaching or boot camp. I always try and put everyone in the boot camp course. It's got a lot in there. It's really organized. And plus, you've always got it as reference material. And that's just for all of the sort of the average normal stuff that people are going through. Sometimes people will hire me in addition to that afterwards. They'll realize they've got their own, perhaps their own mental health issues, and they're really struggling, or there's just something outside of the ordinary, or they just want, the extra, that one-on-one where they can ask me questions. But I always say, check out the boot camp course unless you're going through crisis or something really different, because it covers a lot in there. And anyway, always the boot camp course. I always try and guide people there. I don't know how much longer I'm going to do coaching, to be honest. I only do it because I love it. But yeah, it's just, it takes up so much of my time. And we've got other stuff that we're going to be working on. So we'll see. And I do have a big wait list right now for coaching, but I'm hoping to take on a few new clients this week. Hopefully, maybe tomorrow, throughout the weekend, I might take on a few more clients. So, because I just finished with a couple this week. I'm finishing up with a couple. Okay. 3.5-year-old won't poop on potty. I think it's a control issue. It could be, but only if they're getting some feedback from it. Like there must be a reward. It's only a control issue if they're getting a reward. Are you getting upset? That could be their reward. Okay, so if a toddler won't poop on, that's not a toddler, by the way, 3.5, but I'm going to answer this anyway because it happens with under the age of 3 too. So if they won't poop on the toilet, but they'll pee on the toilet, there's 3 reasons usually. One is plop phobia. When they got splashback, when the poop hit the toilet. The other one is the hanging phobia and the tugging and the pulling when their poop is hanging there and not dropping off quite yet. They don't like that feeling. They're used to it being smashed into a diaper and they don't like that tugging feeling. The third one is the cold. They don't like the air circulating around their butt when they're pooping. So because they're used to it being warm and all smashed in, right? So that's the 3 reasons. So here's how you deal with it. The first one is the splashback. Just get a porta potty and put toilet paper in the bottom of that. So their bums they understand there's not going to be any splashback. It also covers the hanging phobia because the poop will hit that bottom of that potty while it's still, oh God, I'm sorry. It's so graphic. I'm just so used to talking. I talked about this I used to do a lot of TV and it came up in live TV. And I can remember the announcers were going, oh God, please. Anyway, and then so the porta potty, plus then hike up the heat in the bathroom to keep them warm. That's what I recommend. It's usually boys who won't poop. Yeah. I figure it's because they've got more equipment hanging out down there. That's why they're more affected by the splashback, etc. Can I buy your course if I'm from Europe? Yeah, a lot of my clients are all overseas. Yeah, absolutely. You should have no problem. I use PayPal. I've been using that since 2007. Some people have problems with that. It's all I use right now. I can't go any other direction right now because I only keep it all streamlined. I could potentially be moving over to Stripe one day. I don't know. We're talking about it. But anyway, but right now I just use PayPal. But yeah, I got clients all over the world. What's really funny is whenever I get a client with a strong accent, to me, it's, obviously I have an accent to them, but if I have a hard time understanding them, this is what I'm coaching. I tend to yell at them because I think they can't understand me and I yell. And I always say to them, if I start yelling, can you please tell me? And they go, yeah, you're yelling, Lisa. I don't know why, but I figure I'm more understandable. But they say, no, we can understand you. You're just having a hard time understanding us. And being louder doesn't change how we... I'm getting better, but for years I've had a problem with that. Toddler won't stop screaming. That's one of those things you ignore. You kind of ignore the crazy and reward the calm. But the 21-month-old, yeah, you make sure that you never reward that. Okay, so let's say you were feeding them and they screamed. I would pull it back. Like I would take the food away and I would say no. And then you would replace it with something else. Say please and quietly. But it's a slow burn. Nothing with toddlers is going to work overnight. Actually, nothing with any kids usually works overnight. But yeah, it's just consistent corrective actions. And it's more body language. It's not words, you shouldn't scream because it hurts my feelings and all that stuff. That's ridiculous. Yeah, you just use consistent corrective actions. The key word there is consistent. They remember the one time you didn't do it right. They just do. Oh, and the reason I'm on at this time, I know it's a weird time, is my toddler course is launching in like 40 minutes. So that's why I'd come on here, and I'm just focused on toddlers in today's lives only. Just because we've got this brand new course out. It's the boot camp course for toddlers. It's a reference guide more than anything. because you can't plan out what toddlers are going to do. They live right in the moment. You can't have, if you do that, there's going to be a consequence. You can't talk like that with toddlers. So yeah, it's a reference guide, but yeah, I filled that one up pretty quick. I thought, what am I going to put in there? Because they're just crazy, right? So, but yeah, it turns out I found a whole bunch of stuff. So, and then I've also included all the mini courses as an added bonus. So you're paying for the boot camp course for toddlers, but as an added bonus, I'm throwing in all the mini courses. Love your courses and parenting advice, Lisa. Thank you. I do get really good feedback on the courses. I've put a lot into them. And I've kept it short but sweet. A couple of people have complained about the length of the tantrum course. It's not big enough. I had it 4 times bigger, and I edited the hoo-ha out of that thing because it's only got what you need to hear. If there was more information you needed to hear about tantrums, I would have included it. Believe me, I edited that big boy down. It was huge. And because I could go on forever talking about tantrums, but you only need to hear certain things. I just kept the important stuff in there. So, but yeah, those courses are designed to give you what you need and not go on and on and on about all the other stuff. That's what these lives are about. Okay. Because my goal is your results. And I like action steps. And that's how I learn. Don't just tell me the psychology behind stuff. Tell me what to do. That's what I want to know. Like, what do I do? Well, if you think about it this way, no, tell me what to do. That's how I learn. That's how I want to be told. That's how I want to be taught. That's how I teach. I'm very bossy in coaching because your results, when you hire me for coaching, I'm full up right now, by the way, but when I'm working with a client, I take charge because their results are my business. Like what I mean is their success is what makes my business, what makes me proud of my business. So my goal is not to let them talk about the past or the guilt and all that stuff. We got to move forward. I want to get your results. Like, I know it's frustrating. I know you want to talk about the rough times. I get that, but we got to move forward. And then once you get in the good times, you'll look back and you go, well, that wasn't so bad after all, or thank God that's over with. Yeah, I'm always about moving forward. I have no idea why I went in that tangent. Anyway. Yeah, I can't give refunds on those mini courses because we've put out the information there saying they're going to be supplied as a bundle. And a lot of people are still just going to want those mini courses. We went back and forth on this and we got advice on this. And believe me, we looked into it. I'd have to hire someone to do all that. And it's just not like if I buy something and then I find out it's a bonus and something else, it's just part of it. So yeah, we went back and forth. It took us a while to come up with this, but yeah, because the course is a standalone course anyway, the other stuff is just thrown in. So. When do babies start understanding yes and no? About 10 months old, they can start to understand it. It doesn't mean they're going to follow it. Just because they understand something doesn't mean they follow it. They're all about impulses. They want to do something. But you can start letting them know that you don't approve of something. And eventually, the idea is eventually down the road, they'll start to get it. But you just go no, and then you redirect a baby. But you never want to say no to make them cry. You want them to go like this, like they're kind of confused. And then they'll probably do it again or laugh at you. That's okay. That's what they're going to do. It's a natural reaction to ha ha ha, kind of cover it up, but then just redirect. So yeah, about 10 months, they really start to pick up on this. I've noticed. I don't feel like telling this story, but I was babysitting these 2 babies and they were 10 months old. And yeah, this baby was biting and I said, no. And I just moved him away a little bit. And then I was watching him and he went to bite again and he looked at me and then he didn't do it. So he'd learned. But it was more, he was inquisitive. He wasn't afraid or anything. He just looked, oh, okay. Like it was fascinating. He was only 10 months old. I was surprised at that. Okay, I'm going to move over to TikTok now. If you want to join me over there, it's BratBusters Parenting. My new toddler course is being launched in like 30 minutes. So it's the bootcamp course for toddlers. And check that out. It's in the link above. You can get my free behavior board, my mini toddler courses, which will be an added bonus in that toddler course. That toddler course, you're just paying for that. That is a standalone. I'm just throwing the other ones in if you buy that. And then the other boot camp course is 3 to 12 years old. And then you can look into coaching. Anyway, happy parenting. I'm heading over to TikTok and I'm on YouTube the whole time. That's where all my lives are saved. Bye now. Okay. I have to time everything out. I can't do my coaching sessions back to back because I got to take pee breaks. And so got it all sorted out here. Okay, so let me look at YouTube now, see if, and I'm only talking about toddlers this morning because I'm on here today just talking about my new toddler course. I'm just talking about it. If anyone has any questions, it's my boot camp course for toddlers, parents of toddlers. Anyway, I'm just looking at YouTube now, seeing because they've been patiently waiting while because my big platforms it's on my phone is where I'm filming them, and that is Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. So they keep me so busy on there that I when I'm transferring over, that's when I usually look at YouTube. Oh, you're asking for your sister. Oh, about sleep time. I have a whole bedtime course if she's interested. It's called Bedtime Battles. So you can tell her to check out the description, look in there, and it's just a mini course called Bedtime Battles. It's 2 to 8 years old. It's a whole system, how to get them in bed, then how to keep them there. It's ugly. It's a night of hell, but it's often only one night. But if you've got kids sleeping in the same room, it gets a little bit more complex, but anyway. Okay, that was good. I was going to correct you, but then you did the right thing there, or what I consider the right thing. Sophie on YouTube, my 15-month-old has a meltdown when I change her diaper. I ignore her. Then when she stops, I sing her favorite song. Good. You ignore the crazy, reward the calm. Exactly. That's perfect. Couldn't have said that better myself. My kids learned from a really young age that when mom said something was going to happen, it was happening. With dad, when he said something was going to happen, they might be able to redirect him. Okay. He was more the pleaser. I was the leader. It's usually the way it goes. My mom was the leader. My dad was the pleaser. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just different styles. But they knew they were very different on that change table with dad than they were with me. Okay, I'm going to be changing your nappy. And I raised them in Australia. We call it nappies. I'm going to be changing your nappy now. And they just lay there and let me do it. Usually they went through a stage with me too, but then they learned really quickly. But their dad, on the other hand, they wouldn't just lay there. They knew they could probably get a toy out of them, or you might read them a book for a minute. Yeah. Once they figure that out, they just do, they figure out, they knew what mom means what she says and says what she means. I follow through. Dad means what he says, but he doesn't always follow through. So, and that's what most parents are at. But they knew when I said, we're going to be brushing your teeth, they're going to be brushed. I may have to pry their lips open and just get one tooth in there, but it'll happen. You know what I'm saying? Like plus I was very careful. I never said something unless I was ready to follow through. That's the key here, is you got to be ready to follow through. But I knew it was short-term pain for long-term gain. I knew I was investing in tomorrow. So, because I had tons of experience with kids before I had them. And so I knew that now I just got to go through a little bit of a rough patch to get where I want to go. You got to go through the storm to get to the rainbow. Everyone wants the rainbow without the storm. How do we avoid the fit scenes, tantrums, and meltdowns? You don't. That is them processing that you're in charge, not them. That is them accepting the word no. That is them learning to go to bed when they need to. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, they're going to fight you. If you're not a leader to start with, they're more inclined to fight you. Yeah. 2-year-old suddenly terrified of the bath, maybe have a shower or have him run the tub. Just put him in the tub and give him a bucket of water. Start there. There's lots of different ways. Just ease him back into it. But yeah, maybe in the shower, go in the shower with him. Sometimes parents can maybe wear a swimsuit too. Yeah. I won't go into that, but yeah. It's just a funny story I heard once. You're live. Hi, Mark. Oh, it's Mark, because it says it's Mark. It's cute. I love your videos and your tips are so helpful. Excellent. I'm just on here trying to provide value. I do the best I can because I'm all about results. I'm not around. I like the philosophy when I get, actually love the psychology, especially teenage stuff. It's my favorite age. But whenever I get like a child psychologist as a client, they always want to know the reasoning behind everything. And I say, maybe wait till the end of the session because by the time we're finished, it might make sense anyway. But sometimes they'll argue with me on things. And I always think I win. They may think they won, but I always say, well, you paid me, so maybe just follow what I say and we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I do happen to like the psychology behind it. I love it. I could go on for hours about the psychology behind what I do, why I do it, and story after story after story. But I'm more inclined to give you steps on just moving forward. I do tell a lot of stories in coaching because if they don't understand why they should be doing something, sometimes they won't do it. And I can tell. I read body language. So that, okay, I'll do that. And I think, no, you're not going to. I'm going to tell you a story about someone who, so I use a lot of stories just to get them to move along. And because this stuff's hard, you're changing yourself. I teach leadership parenting. I don't teach how to fix your kids. I teach how to fix you and how to learn, right? I teach parenting. I don't teach kidding. So it's hard to change. I get that. I'm terrible for that. I'm terrible in my life. I always do the same thing, expecting different results. I am horrible for being in an absolute rut. With my morning routine's sacred, but other than that, I still tend to do the same thing. Dumb. I'm 63, so you get old. The reason why we tend to get set in our ways as we get older is we kind of know what we like at this point. There's a whole bunch of stuff I've tried and didn't like throughout my life, so I just don't do that anymore. You teach accountability. Absolutely, because you got to be accountable. If you're not accountable to your kids, you're not a leader. You're a dictator. Totally different. I teach accountability. My kids loved it when I messed up. Loved it. Because they knew I was going to make amends. Okay. I don't know if I even introduced myself on here yet. Anyway, my name is Lisa. Am I on TikTok? I'm pretty sure. Anyway, my name is Lisa. I'm a parenting coach. If you go in the link above, you can see my free behavior board, my mini toddler courses, which are an added bonus thrown into my brand new boot camp course for toddlers. That is being released in like 27 minutes. So if you want to check in the link above, you can look into that. Actually, my daughter said she's going to release it 10 minutes early because there's always a little hiccup. Whenever you launch something new, there's always a hiccup. So it's going to be very soon. She's going to launch the Toddler Bootcamp course. That is a standalone. You're paying for that. But I'm going to be throwing in the other courses as an added bonus. But you're still paying. You're just paying for that bootcamp course, basically. And I'm not offering refunds. I know people, we just talked about this back and forth. Should we? Like if you've just bought a bunch of little mini courses, should you get those refunded? Because we can't do that. We talked about it. We got advice on it. We looked at what other people do. It's just can't be done. It's too difficult. And then you can also look into my big boot camp course for 3 to 12-year-olds. I have nothing for teens yet except for coaching. I do have plans on doing a teen course. The reason I thought I'd never do a teenage course, well, the reason I always swore I'd never do a toddler course was like a big course, was because what am I going to say? Toddlers are crazy, the end. So what I did was I made it more of a reference guide. It's tons of mini lessons, just tons and tons of them. So if your toddler does this, you can refer to that. And, that's how I managed to get that done. And I thought I actually really enjoyed doing it. So it was good. And then the teen course, the reason why I say I'd never do a teen course is because I specialize in crisis work with teens. So, and I thought, well, I can't do a course on that. No, that's stupid. Of course I can't. So I thought, no, just make it a general teenage course, how you transition yourself into the teen years with your teenagers. So I will be doing that. We got something else planned before that. My daughter's now working for me full time. You should see what she has planned. She's the planner and the marketer here. I just do what she says. So anyway, all I want to do is talk about parenting and she handles everything else. Okay. This is cute. I have 0 kids, but I think you're awesome. Oh, and you even put a muscle thing in there. Isn't that cute? I work out every day, but I'm not getting bigger because, well, for one thing, I'm older and I don't want to get bigger. And, but anyway, also I figure I'm vegan. I'm proud of the fact as a vegan that I can lift my head off the pillow every morning. So that I have the strength to do that. So I figure as a vegan, I'm never going to get huge anyway. I know some vegans can get big, but I'm not that good at figuring out all my protein and all that stuff. Okay. So I am focused on toddlers in this live and also the live, my regularly scheduled live at 4:30. It starts on Facebook, then Instagram, and TikTok. It's all going to be focused on toddlers because I'm launching my toddler course today. the big one, the boot camp course. It's being launched in like a few minutes. So, and I just wanted to answer your questions about that, if you have any. Okay. Someone said meat is fire. Oh, don't even talk about being vegan. I'm not pro-vegan. I cook meat for other people. I mean, I'm not pro-vegan. I'm vegan, but it's just my own personal choice. Anyone who argues their own personal choices, yeah, we probably wouldn't get along. You have your religion, I respect that. You eat the way you want, I respect that. And you respect the fact I just choose to be vegan. So yeah, and I taught my kids that too. I didn't want them to have any prejudices or biases. I said, you love that, right? But other kids hate it, and you may hate this, and they love that. So it's different. It's nice that we're all different. We all have different choices, right? So yeah, it's insecurity that makes people argue their personal choices. And I'm very secure with being vegan. And if I feel like eating meat one day, I probably will. It's only been 9 years, so I could still change. It just works for now, whatever. But yeah, I told my kids, don't ever judge anyone for not liking what you like, and vice versa. And they're very good with that. That's where prejudices come from. They're based on my way or the highway. My way's right, your way's wrong. And yeah. Oh, I couldn't know what you were talking about. It took me a second. An example on how to wing off Passy, 2-year-old. So pacifier, how to wean them off the pacifier, you mean? Okay, I'll tell you what I did with my son. He was 18 months old, and I didn't even want him to have it for that long. He was addicted to it. I don't even think I saw his mouth for 18 months. He was just had it in his face all the time. It was pinned to his, and he drooled a lot because of it. So he always had a bib on. It was gross. But anyway, I let it go because we lived in Australia. That's where my kids are born and raised. And my family's in Canada. So when we traveled over, I thought, well, we're going to be going over when he's 18 months old. So I thought, there's no way I'm going to take that pacifier away from him for that 24-hour trip. There's no way. But the day after we got home, I had jet lag. I was just exhausted. And I decided, this is it. I'm taking these things away. So he was only little. So I had him help me collect them. I made a big deal out of it. We're going to collect all your dummies, we called them. And we're going to put them in this little bag. And then I picked him up. He held the bag. We went out to the garage, and we had the big wheelie bin with the big lid on it. And I said, okay, throw them in there. Bye-bye. You're a big boy now. No more dummies. And then he waved bye-bye. But I was already kind of a leader. He was starting to figure out that when mom said something, it was going to happen. So he didn't tend to argue. He still had tantrums from time to time, but he was sort of starting to understand that when mom said something, it was going to happen. Anyway, doesn't mean he was always going to like it, though. So I thought, oh, I'm in for one hell of a day. I was thinking, I've got jet lag, and now I've done this. What? Am I stupid or what? Do you know he never asked for one once? I was shocked. And I did give him some sippy cups, a straw that he could chew on, safely. But I gave him sippy cups, so something else to do instead of the dummy. But every time he'd go like this, looking for the dummy, he'd look at me, and I'd look away instantly. There was no way I was going to get eye contact when he was looking for that dummy. So I'd look away. Ooh, the birds in the trees. So it just never happened. I'm not saying it's always going to be that easy, but I do suggest you do it like pulling off a Band-Aid, make it fast. It's like separation anxiety. That's another common one that comes up. You just pull off a Band-Aid. You don't make a big deal out of the goodbyes or the hellos. You just say, okay, have fun. I'll see you later. And then you go. Then you go sit in your car and cry like I did. But don't let them see that. Don't drag it out. Whoever you're dropping your kids off with, you trust enough to look after them. And if you're dropping them off in daycare or school or whatever, believe me, those people know how to deal with separation anxiety. It usually goes for maybe 3 weeks off and on, maybe even 6 weeks as they get a bit older. Depends on how much you feed it. They say the longer the goodbye, the worse the anxiety. So yeah, and then when you come to see them, say, oh, okay, we're going to go shopping now. Mommy, I missed you. You're all right. Let's go shopping. You see, you don't make a big deal out of you coming or going. Like it's no big deal. They get used to it. I remember my son loved the daycare at gym. We used to go every single morning, and he loved it so much that when he saw me arrive, he'd almost cry. When I came back, he'd almost go like, oh no, because he loved it. He never wanted to leave. So. Yeah, some babies don't need pacifiers, and don't judge other people who use it. Some kids really love having a pacifier. My daughter didn't. My son did. So yeah, I used it. I was going to use whatever I had at my disposal to make him happy. Yep, you betcha. Okay, I have a 10-month-old and a 14-year-old. Should I wait? Oh, to buy the course? The toddler course starts at 16 months. So yeah, you can buy that anytime. And you can probably use some of it now anyway. And it'll tell you what's coming. A lot of people who just have babies have bought my 3 to 12-year-old course because they want to know what's coming. So yeah, you can kind of prepare for that. So yeah, you can get that now. But you can't do everything in there until they're 16 months old. But you can still get some ideas. There's still a few things you could probably use. Like if they throw food, that one you could probably use. Okay, actually, I have to get going. I've got to go. I've got a client coming up and I've got to make a call first. So anyway, the Toddler Bootcamp course is being opened up. You can purchase that in about 10 minutes, I think, in about 8 minutes. My daughter does all that. So anyway, it's all finished now. We're very excited about it. And if you go on the link above, that's the Toddler Bootcamp course, 16 to 35 months. The other bootcamp course is different. It's a step-by-step guide over 5 weeks, how to be a leader. The Toddler Bootcamp course is more of a reference guide because you can't do 5 weeks to be a leader. They're not, they're not there yet. They live right in the moment. They're not thinking ahead. So and you need children to be able to stop and think before they act, before you can actually set yourself up as a leader, in the other course. But under the age of 3, they're not there yet. So it's more of a reference guide. It's got tons of tips in there. It's all tons of mini courses. Anyway, I'm really happy with it. I never thought I'd do that course because I just thought I'm going to put in there, Toddlers Are Crazy, the end. But turns out I managed to fill it up. So it's pretty big. And the mini courses are an added bonus. You're paying for that bootcamp course with the toddlers, but the mini toddler courses are just an added bonus. So if you've already bought those, you're paying for the big course anyway. So yeah, I can't give any refunds. We went back and forth on that and we looked into it. We asked around and yeah, it's just that we were going to be doing it. Anyway, thanks so much for joining me. Happy parenting. And you can also look at my free behavior board and coaching. That's all linked above. It's all in the same link. Anyway, thanks so much. Happy parenting and have a great day. I'll be back again at 4:30 tonight Pacific time, starting on Facebook, then Instagram, then TikTok, doing my regularly scheduled lives. Today's all about toddlers. I'm answering your questions about the toddler course. So thanks so much. Take care.